Hey, hello everyone. Welcome to our channel PyWizards. We basically are rolling out a new Python course, an end-to-end course, which will include all the Python basics, a few chapters of advanced Python, and also a few projects. Okay. Basically, this is a course for beginners, but by the time it ends, it will give you an intermediary level of proficiency. Obviously not that would basically from where on you can get on to machine learning and data science applications of Python. Okay. Before even I install Python, I just wanted to let you know about three broad development environments that are used for writing Python scripts today. The number one is text editors. The most popular text editors are Sublime and Atom. We are not going to touch upon text editors in this course. The simple reason is being that text editors are not Python specific and hence limited in terms of the number of features for they have for running Python programs. Okay, as simple as that. I have nothing against them, but yeah, it's just that uh, for an intermediate level of proficiency, it's better to use other Python development environments. Okay. Now there is something else that is called integrated development environments. Integrated development environments are something that get continually updated. They're Python specific, and because it's an IDE, there is always a set of developers or company behind it which is always trying to make it better. Okay. PyCharm is one of the IDEs that is very famous. The next is notebook environment. Jupyter notebooks are the most famous notebook environment that comes with the Anaconda distribution, which we are going to download going forward in this video. I'll let you know the advantages and pros and cons of both integrated development environments and notebook environments as we go forward. Okay. Uh, Before we even start, though, I just wanted to let you know about a really cool feature that Python has. That is, if you have a distribution like Anaconda already downloaded, okay, then you can actually use your command prompt to run Python scripts. Okay. First of all, let us go to our command prompt. We can type cmd in our start command, and then how the other advantage of a command prompt is that it basically lets you uh, programmatically access directories of your entire computer. Okay, so user sumbitim is basically the directory that has all the files of the computer. So if I type dir, then it shows all files that are there on my desktop. If I do and if you see here, it has given individual files, it has given directories as well. For example, desktop is a directory, downloads is a directory. So let's say I put change directory to desktop, cd desktop. Okay, then it will take me into the desktop directory. Now if I type dir, then it takes me to, I'm really sorry, if I type dir, then it takes me to all the files that are there in my desktop directory. Okay, after that, the main functionality that we were talking about is running Python scripts on command prompt. Okay, we can first type Python. It basically tells you that there is a Anaconda package that is already installed, and it can piggyback on the features of that Anaconda package to actually give us to actually run Python scripts. Okay, so let's start with the most basic programming. Print hello world. Okay, you see it prints hello. So that's it. That's what is the use of command prompt. Next we move on to downloading the integrated development environment and Jupyter notebook that comes along with the Anaconda distribution that we are going to download. First of all, let's check whether our system is a 64-bit type operating system or 32-bit type operating system. For that, you'll first need to go to your settings, then go to about. Once you go to about, there will be something called system type. System type will basically tell you whether it is a 64-bit operating system or a 32-bit operating system. As you can see, mine is a 64-bit operating system. So any system that is typically manufactured after 2007, it is expected to be a 64-bit operating system. Okay. So let us now use this link to go to actually, it is already open for me, but still I would open it. Now, these websites are continually getting smarter. As you can see, it has already offered me the latest version for Windows. It understands that I have a Windows operating system and the type as well, as expected. Okay. If you have a different operating system, whether it is Linux, whether it is Mac OS or Unix or any other operating system for that matter, you can download the versions from here. Now let's download the exe file. Now the exe file has got downloaded. When I open it, there will be install now option. Let's first have it installed. As it gets downloaded, just wanted to let you know that the functionalities for integrated development environment is not any different for a Windows operating system, a Mac OS, or a Linux or a Unix. It's just that different versions that suit the operating systems get downloaded, but the Python code or the Python scripts that you write and the results that they're going to show are going to be are going to be exactly the same, irrespective of the operating system that you use. So even if you are on a Mac, you can actually follow this tutorial to learn Python from the beginning to the intermediary level, the way we have been promising it. So let's wait for a moment for this to get downloaded, and after that we can probably get started. Okay, and it's almost done. Takes a bit of time in the beginning, or if you are downloading it for the first time, to be very honest. Um, um, cool. Once it is done, it tells you that the setup was successful. You can close this window. Again, go to the Windows Start prompt, and basically you can type idle. It will open up the integrated development and learning environment. As the name suggests, this can be used to practice any uh, form of programs. For example, let's write print hello world. Okay, sorry, it prints hello world. Now I have written print hello world. Okay, you see the difference. Okay, and the features that it provides. I knowingly wrote this incorrect. If you see, there is a particular kind of syntax highlighting that you will get used to. If the function that is being written in the correct format, that is the spelling is correct, the case, it is case sensitive, so everything has to be in the small case. So if the case is correct, then it will give you a particular kind of syntax highlighting. Okay, and if whatever you are writing is within single quotes or within double quotes, it will always print as green. But see here, what it is doing, that since I started writing print as a as with p starting uh, with a with the uppercase, so it started printing in a different color code, and it eventually gave me an error, which is very easy to understand. If you see, it has written name error, name print, highlighting that there is some issue with print which is not defined. Did you mean print? It basically is hinting you to the fact that probably you wanted to write print. Okay, so there are two features that you can deduce from here. One is the syntax highlighting, Second is the fact that the errors are designed in a manner in which it is easy for even a beginner to understand. Okay, if you're a little cognizant of things. Now let's say I write print, okay, and write hello world. Cool. You see, again, the part which is not incorrect, or where the inconsistency starts, that is where the color coding changes. In all of these three in the first and the third program, the print was written correctly in small cases, so there is a particular kind of color coding or syntax highlighting that has been done. Okay, however, if you see, what it does is that since hello world in this case and in the previous case print were incorrect, it highlighted in black. Syntax was highlighted in black color, which you would increasingly get used to, is that somewhere if the highlight is in black, then I am going wrong somewhere, and it becomes very useful when you are actually writing larger codes. Okay, now the other thing, if you see, is that it is highlighting H here, pointing to the fact that there has to be a single quote or a double quote here. And if you read the error, again, very, very helpful. Invalid syntax, perhaps you forgot a com. Okay. So deducing from this entire course of events is that the integrated development and learning environment, as the name suggests, helps you to practice, to learn, and gives you a lot of features that helps you write correct codes. Okay. Now, apart from this, there is another important feature that it has. Let's say you have already practiced and you know how to write a correct print hello world program the way we have done in the first case. So what we'll do, we'll open a new file. We'll just write print. Okay. If you see, the highlighting feature is here as well. Print hello world and save it. Okay. Let's say I save it as hello 6. Cool. Okay. Now, let's say 3 days or 4 days after I have I have to access the program again and see whatever I have written is running correctly or not, or maybe make a few changes later, whatever it is. Okay. I go to file, I go to recent files, I go to hello6.py. If you see, it's a .py script file. Okay. In integrated development environments, typically always .py files run. Okay, we open this, we go to run. We either you can press F5 as it is mentioned here, or you can go to run and press run module. What it will do is that it will freshly run the program for you, and as you can see, it gives you hello. So that is how you can use a integrated development environment to basically run your program and check whether the program is correct or incorrect. If after a lot of experimentation you have come to the conclusion or you've got the result desired, then you can probably make a new file, save it off, and then use it later. There is one more feature that I wanted to touch upon before we actually move on to the Anaconda distribution, downloading the Anaconda distribution, is what is the difference between idle and what is a Python interpreter. Idle, as I showed you, is the integrated development and learning environment where you can basically write your programs. It has a lot of features. It lets you experiment, lets you correct your program, lets you see if you're actually going wrong while writing the program itself. Okay, but once you save the program, or in the integrated development and learning environment itself, when you press enter, there is a backend code that runs to actually give you the result desired. That is a Python interpreter. So if going forward someone asks you what is the difference between idle and what is the difference between Python interpreter, you can actually use the slide to refer the definitions. So we will actually, for this entire course, use a notebook environment because the notebook environment has its own set of advantages. and hence our files will be in a .ipynb format instead of a .py script that is typically used for integrated development environments. Okay. Uh, we will be using Anaconda distribution for Python. Anaconda distribution basically installs a easy to use development environment and navigator launch tool. The Jupyter notebook is the development environment that we will be using. And the best part is that the Anaconda download will include other libraries apart from the Jupyter notebook. Okay. So now let's get on to actually installing it. There is a link that we are providing that gives us all the instructions regarding installing it to Windows. In fact, if you go to this link itself, uh, then it gives you instructions on how to download for Mac OS, how to download for Linux, and other operating systems as well. Okay. However, our concern is to download it for Windows, so I will give you the link in the PPT itself. We can use this link. Go to Anaconda distribution website. Now, please keep in mind that this page, the way this page looks, actually changes from time to time. So don't get worried if a different page opens for you. Okay. Or it could be if you open this a year later, then it could be different. Okay. Now for on this page itself, you'll have to scroll down to the very to the bottom. It basically tells you the advantages of Anaconda, what features or what kind of repository it has, and what is the cloud backup environment, and all of these things, how it helps in NLP, in visualization, in AI and machine learning, and all of that. We need to come to Windows and download the 64-bit graphical installer. Okay. If you have a Mac system, then you should also download the 64-bit graphical installer. Okay. And for Linux, it is advisable to download the 64-bit installer here. Okay, now since we are using Windows, we will have Python 3.11 version installed. For that, we install the exe file. If you see in the extension itself, it tells you that it's a 64-bit exe file that we are installing. Okay, so now the exe file has got downloaded. I'll go to the exe file and basically have it downloaded. It might take some time to open. Just give it a moment. Yeah, this is how it will crop up. We can set to next. I agree, just me. And then we can probably see 6. I just changed it to 6 because I had downloaded earlier versions to this destination folder. So you can basically use the default destination folder that comes in, no issues if you're downloading it for the first time. Next. Add Anaconda to my path environment variable basically tells you that if you it tells you not recommended, but I'll tell you that if you want to actually have Anaconda come up every time you type Python, that is, if you want Anaconda to be your default development environment for Python, then please tick mark this. Then you need not do this. And this should install as quickly as it can. Okay, so since it has got completed, we'll go to next. Then we go press next again. And it gives us an option to launch Anaconda Navigator and getting started with Anaconda distribution. We need both, so we'll tick mark both and finish. Okay, so it tells us welcome to Anaconda. Here are some great resources. There are a few details. Okay, now we go back to the start in the Windows prompt and type Anaconda. Okay, then we open the Anaconda. For the first time, it will take some time because it is trying to verify the installer. Okay, so once you go and open the Anaconda Navigator here, then you will this page will open up. If you see this page, there are a few things. One is home, that basically tells you all the development environments that it offers. For example, Jupyter Lab, which is another uh, notebook environment, Qt console, Spider. Okay, everything is largely um, tilted towards the machine learning and data science environment. So we will just focus on Jupyter Notebook, which is actually very helpful for beginners to understand and execute Python codes. Then there is something called Python environment. Since I just downloaded it, or it also gives us the base root environment. Typically, once you open it, also you will see the base root environment, unless and until you use different environments as we go forward. Learning, there is a lot of learning documents that are already there. Again, as I said, tilted in favor of actually the data science and machine learning community, but you can see a few packages and see if anything is helpful for you once you go through this course. Then there is something called community. In community, there are a lot of things like there is a blog that is run. For example, if you see the Anaconda blog that says that it is the world's most popular data science platform, there is something called, if I remember correctly, then there is something called Stack Overflow that helps you post questions and mine the knowledge of the best of the open source community. Python has become popular because it is mostly open source community. So a lot of people actually have formed communities where they can access and run Python codes and interact with each other to make their codes better. Okay. Before we go forward, first what we need to is that we go back to the home tab and then launch the Notebook. So once you launch the Jupyter Notebook, you'll see that it will open in typically Mozilla Firefox or Google Chrome, based on whichever is your default. Just please note that if you see it here, then it has been mentioned that this is a local host. Meaning that Jupyter typically notebook does not require any internet for it to be run. Okay. However, it uses Google Chrome or Windows for that matter as interfaces to open itself. But if you do not have your internet also, it will still open in these environments. Okay, so now once this interface opens, what you can do is that you can, if you see the way we were seeing it in the command prompt, once we put directories, here the notebook environment directly shows you all the files that are there or directories that are there on my computer. For example, it shows documents, it shows downloads, it shows various IPYNB files that I had made earlier. Okay. Now what we can do is that first look at how this works. Okay, briefly look at how it works. We would be using this more extensively as we go forward. Let's say you open a folder, and if you scroll down, you see a few seconds ago an untitled folder has been opened. You can basically uh, scroll up, have the option to delete this folder, move this folder, or even rename. Let's rename these as Sankit. Okay. So these kind of smaller features that it also gives. What we can also do is that we can go ahead and open a Python notebook environment directly. This is how typically the notebook environment looks. Let's type the um, same program, obviously with a different syntax highlighting feature. You see it prints hello world. Okay. Now the feature that notebook environment gives us is that the result here is almost next to the code that you're writing, and that is whatever you have printed and whatever result you get. And the best part is that it gives you the ability to take notes. For example, here no one knows what did I press to actually get this result, right? So it is shift plus enter. So I have taken this note down. Okay. Now next time when you open up this file, whenever you save it, you actually have the ability to check, okay, what is it that I do here, or why did I write this code for that matter. Cool. Now there are a few features we can look at before we actually go ahead. I have basically typed the programs in the same format as we were doing it in the integrated development environment to show you that there are a lot of similarities as well. Okay. Here, if you see, there is a lot of syntax highlighting takes place. But the advantage this has over an integrated development environment is it actually helps you take notes. Okay. Second thing is that if you see the syntax errors that it shows, it is pretty much in line with how the errors were coming in the IDE environment. Okay, it says you perhaps you got a forgot a comma. Here it tells you print is not defined. Okay, and it also the syntax highlighting is also in a format in which it it starts printing in black wherever it sees that there is an error. For example, here print is not in small cases, so it is printed in black. Here hello world is printed in black because it does not have the inverted commas that it needed to have. Cool. Now there is one more thing. If you see, the first time I entered a shift enter here, it printed the hello world and it gave us a new shell. But if you see here, there is no new shell that has been given by the program. Here I have used another command, that is control plus enter. When you do control plus enter, it does not give you a new shell. It just runs the current shell. But if you do a if I go back and press a shift plus enter again, it runs the program and it gives you a new shell to type the program as well. There is another key feature that you need to understand or need to keep in mind. Whenever it is in edit format, that whenever it is in the notebook is in a state to accept your command, or you are in an edit format, it will always give you this prompt. This prompt basically tells you that it's an edit format. Whereas if I type anywhere outside or when there is no cursor, then it goes off. It is not in an edit format. Okay. One other key feature that it has, and especially useful for beginners, is that there is something that it offers which is called user interface store. You can go ahead and do this in user interface store. It will basically tell you that which part represents what. Okay, you can use right arrow keys. It will show you file name. Okay, what is a menu bar? Okay, menu bar has menus for action from its cells and kernel it communicates with, and all of these things. Okay, now how can we save this file? We go to the files, then we mention it as save as. Let's put it as Sanket 2 and save it. Okay, we can go to the untitled folder here, the other tab, and we can check as to what has happened to the Sanket 2 folder. If you see, it has got saved as a IPYNB format file, which is what typically a notebook file gets saved as. And if you see this green icon here, then it basically tells you that it is already running. Okay. What we can do is that we can select this, scroll to the top and write it as shutdown. Once you shut it down, it basically saves as Sanket 2. Every time you open Sanket 2, it will give you all the results that you've done, that you had actually entered in the very beginning. Cool. So this is all about how to use command prompt, how to download an integrated development environment, what are the basic features that it provides, and how to basically what is an Anaconda distribution, what features that it comes with, how to run basic programs with it, okay, and how to install it, which was the main part of the video. So, thank you.